All right, let's try this. Oh, not working yet. Okay, well, thank you everyone for checking out the Deo Valente CrossFit podcast. This is our July 2024 edition. The purpose of this podcast is to build our community and have conversations with members that we want to highlight beyond just the conversations we would normally have in the gym. So our member of the month this month is Keith Balch, who we'll bring on in a minute. But before we do that, I'll just give a few updates. First one being, since our last podcast, we've upgraded our website and we've enabled potential new members to learn more about us in a more streamlined way, and then also self-book a free trial class. And we've seen a lot of success with that. And we're excited to highlight some of the new members that we have. We've got 5 new members in the last couple of weeks. Shout out to Monica, Lindsay, Teresa, Rick, and Ryan. And we're looking forward to more to come. And just want to say thank you to all the members who have been so warm and welcoming to these new members and just brought them right in and helped them get up to speed with the gym. So really exciting time of growth for us. 2 other updates. We started a 5 a.m. class led by yours truly. And since it's almost my bedtime, we're going to try to keep this nice and concise. And then let's see. Lastly, we've got Hot Shots, which we talked about in our last podcast, but that'll be at Captain CrossFit in Prescott, Arizona. And that'll be on August 24th. We've got a large crew going to the 11 a.m. heat. And we've got shirts. So check out our Bonfire store. We've got links to that on all of our channels. So make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, like our Facebook page, and all that stuff. So, all right. That's my updates, Logan. I don't know if you have anything else that I forgot. All good? Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, we'll bring on Keith. All right, everyone. Mr. Keith Balch. Hey, Keith. How's it going? Welcome.
Hello.
Oh, I lost my voice. I can't do this. I gotta
go. Do this thing.
That was cool. Like, does it do it live?
There it goes.
Nice.
Keith has a superpower, and that superpower is love.
That's weird. That's cool.
That's awesome. That goes right into the next, the reason why Keith is our member of the month. I wrote a little something for you right here, Keith. Yeah, I'll read it to you. Just a little.
You don't have to. It's fine.
No, it's fine. It's just a little poem. It's only a couple pieces long. It says, the reason why we chose Keith. Keith wakes up at dawn, ready to rise, a dedicated dad with fire in his eyes. He's got Casey and Zoe, 2 reasons to strive. Every day for them, he brings his best alive. Keith the CrossFitter, strong and true. True stocks pulled up, always in view. With Casey and Zoe cheering loud, he lifts their hearts standing proud. I have a lot more, but I don't want ChatGPT to take up too much of our time. So shout out to ChatGPT for saying all the things that I wanted to say, but I would never say to you in person. So,
well, thanks, ChatGPT, and feel free to whisper those in my ear tomorrow morning.
Oh, I will. When I rub your back, it'll be awesome. Yes. No, yeah. I mean, honestly, I feel like, man, I want to do the coaches too. I feel like we don't. For a while, I was like, we can't do, we can't do Harlan, or we can't do, so and so because they're a coach. And I feel like we did do Megan one week, and that was before she really started coaching Thursday mornings. But the other person was Jen, and then but I knew Jen was getting her L1, so it's kind of like, that's cool. You're a member of the month, and so anyway, so I'm including everybody. Like Adam, you're going to be member of the month one of these times. So it'll just be you talking to yourself the whole time,
asking myself questions. Yeah.
Yeah, but
it'll be really entertaining.
If you don't know Keith, with our 7 followers on here, Keith's a good dude. Always makes everybody in the gym smile, and what we see. And I thought this would be a fun podcast. Honestly, I'm really excited for this. We did a coaches one with you and Meg and Harlan, and I think Brindley was even on that one, and that was really fun too. So Yeah, man, we appreciate you and excited to ask you a bunch of random questions.
Well, thanks, boys. I appreciate it. But
Yeah, and actually, there is a member who is newer, had no idea that we did a podcast, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to get you guys out a little bit early because I gotta bus home and do this podcast. And he's like, you guys do a podcast? And I was like, yeah, those are like all the members of the month. We do a podcast with each member. And he was like, those are members of the month? And I was like, yeah. And so, anyways, he was like, oh, I got to tune into that. But I told them some of the questions. So, yeah, we'll save those for later.
Making me sweat now.
Yeah.
Well,
that'll be good.
So Keith, just like any CrossFit class, we're gonna help you warm up, with like some of the easy stuff, and then we'll get into the more complex movements here. So
appreciate you.
We'll start with some basic questions. Tell us about yourself. Where did you grow up? What did you study in school? How did you meet your wife? And how did you discover CrossFit? So start with the basics. Where did you grow up? Tell us about your upbringing.
Let's see. I was a wee young lad. No, I was born and raised here in Phoenix. I was actually born in Mesa, lived in Tempe. My parents did, and then we moved to Glendale. I lived at 35th Avenue in Bell, and then we moved again to 67th and Union. I went to Deer Valley High School, not too far from here. So grew up here, and then I went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University up in Prescott, where I studied aeronautical science, and I did a minor in aviation safety. And then when I graduated, I moved away just for like 2 years to go to, I worked for an airline called Atlantic Coast Airlines. They were out of DC. And then I transferred to Chicago after 2 years there, where then I actually moved back to Phoenix. So I lived here in Phoenix, but worked out of Chicago. So yeah, that's pretty much where I lived. I did like a summer in St. Louis, and yeah, not very well traveled as far as living, pretty much a Phoenician.
But you are well traveled because of work, right? Which tell us about your work.
I am currently a pilot for Southwest Airlines. So I started out working for Atlantic Coast Airlines from 2000, 2005, just flying RJs. I flew out of DC, Chicago, and then all over the Northeast, Midwest. And then that company went bankrupt. So then I went and worked for a corporate, it's like a fractional. So corporate jets, I flew for them for 13 years called NetJets. And that's where I went all over North America, Caribbean, a little bit of South America, stuff like that. And then in 2018, I got hired at Southwest. I've been flying with them.
Did you fly any celebrities?
I did fly, celebrities, sports people, things like that.
On
That's
Southwest?
Cool. Actually, I think I have on Southwest, but for NetJets for corporate, I flew like private jets for those people.
I've been on a few flights where there's actual celebrities, and none of them were Southwest. But there was one where Kurt Warner was on. I think that was American sports guy, quarterback for I think the Cardinals at one point. And then David Johnson, another Cardinals player, running back, on the way back from Hawaii. And then is it Lionel Richie, the musician?
Yeah.
He was on a different one. Anyway.
That's cool.
I wanted to be like, thumbs up, cool, you're a celebrity. Anyways. All right. So that's your upbringing and your line of work. Tell us about your family. How did you meet your wife? How many kids do you have? I want to hear all the fun stories there.
So actually Sandra and I met through eHarmony. She doesn't like this story because I had no intention of like getting married or doing any of that things. I have an older son, Jacob, he's 28 right now. But when I was younger, long story short, this was before all the apps and everything else, like they had stuff. So I went like it was like a couple of websites just because I was like, not really interested in dating and just kind of having fun. And so eHarmony was one of those I went on, and Sandra was the first one that I met on there, and she suckered me in, and next thing you know, we got married. So that was pretty funny. We met through there. And then I do have a son, Jacob. He is 28. He lives in California right now. I was a senior in high school when we had him, not with Sandra, but somebody else. And then now Sandra and I, we have Casey, who's 12, and Zoe, who's 11.
Nice. And they're in CrossFit Kids.
Yeah, they love doing CrossFit. Well, most of the time they love doing CrossFit Kids.
So I'll just say, while we're on the topic of family and CrossFit Kids, I love the concept of, okay, hear me out. In finance and in other things that I do, we talk about creating generational wealth. I like that what we do with our gym is create generational health. So it's kind of like a twist on that concept, but basically you're teaching your family how to live a healthy lifestyle. And, you know, in this day and age, we've got a lot of modern conveniences that are different than, you know, we'll just say like generations past, where they had to work on farms or do other things like walk to different places, where health and fitness were kind of built into their way of life. Whereas currently, like, it doesn't have to be, but you're so much better off if it is. And so I love seeing, it's something I'm most proud of with our gym, is that we're helping families, you know, participate in that and create that for their family. So something that I want for my family, I know it's true for Logan too. And so it's really cool to see the Balch family doing it with us. So I'm seeing more comments here. Let's see. It's actually Zoe.
Zoe,
yes, Zoe and Sandra are commenting right now. Zoe likes to comment.
Nice.
They're watching in the other room.
All right. So we skimmed over getting married. So tell us about how you came to that decision and how you proposed.
I don't know how I came to that decision. It was very quick for us. It was like, what, Sandra, if you can comment, I think it was like 8 months or whatever from the time that we met to when we got engaged. How did I do? I tried to actually embarrass her because I knew that she doesn't like that. She doesn't like the attention. So I had actually spoken to her principal, and was trying to like work something out. And then that principal, like 7 months, Sandra said 7 months. And I tried to work with her principal to try and like do something in front of the school or in front of like a meeting or something like that. And so then, like, it's funny because the principal was like, okay, we're gonna have a meeting on Friday. It was something like after school. And it's like, that's the worst time to do a meeting because no one wants to hang out on Friday. So Sandra was the first one that, like, I'm sorry, this is going to be on the record, Sandra, but she was just like, oh, I can't make it. Like, for some reason, she's like, I can't make the meeting. And so like the meeting was for me to like embarrass her in front of everybody. So then I tried a couple different ways to do that, and that didn't work out. So then I just I knew her roommate, so I snuck into her house at like 5 o'clock in the morning on I think it was that
creepy.
Friday. Yeah, woke her up and proposed.
Nice.
And her sleepiness, you know, she said yes because I don't think she really understood what was going on until later, and she's like, "Dang it,
you duped her."
I did, suckered her.
Yeah, duped her good.
Oh, she had a tax appointment to file her taxes that day. Nice one.
Oh man, that's good.
And then what was the rest of your question? I forgot it.
I love that you can see who's commenting down here.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Zoe's not impressed.
Muted? I'm muted. There, now I'm unmuted. Sorry. I'm eating over here, by the way, when I'm off camera. So
yeah.
I think that was, I don't remember what my other question was. So
how'd you start CrossFit?
Oh yeah.
I actually I brought it. My little notebook from Hammer CrossFit when I started. And my first workout is from September of 2012. CrossFit for me, I was going to Mountainside and I was just doing the whole global gym thing, and I was just getting in a rut and I was finding excuses not to go. I've met Sandra, and her roommate Heather was dating and still is with Joel Griffith, who was coaching at Hammer CrossFit at the time. And so Joel was coaching, she was going there, and I was like, that seems pretty cool. So through Heather, Sandra's roommate, before we got married, I saw her, and then I walked into Hammer CrossFit, and like was it Hammer CrossFit? Like it wasn't in the ice rink, but it was the other one, the next location, the smaller one. And yeah, it was crazy. I walked in, and I just remember Frank, not Frank Tardy, the coach, but a different Frank, who was an older gentleman, was just out there repping bar muscle ups. And I'm like, holy cow, like, how is this guy doing that? And just was like, looking around, everyone's working out. I'm like, this is awesome. And so, yep, immediately just signed up to do the intro workout and did that, and then signed up for grunt school, and then just started from there.
Was that Frank? Did he have glasses?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember him. Man,
Yeah.
wow, crazy.
Yeah, he was a good dude. I like that guy. Yeah, he was fun. But yeah, I just instantly, like, as soon as I started, I'm like, this is awesome. Like, this is for me. And now I'm a huge CrossFit nerd.
Yeah, believe it or not, we're talking to Keith Balch. We're not talking to Dan Haley. So for all of you out there who understand what I'm talking about, if you know, you know.
Do you think the new generation, like Brindley's age, do you think they know who Dan Bailey is?
I think so.
Only because their parents are like, you don't know who Dan Bailey is?
Yeah, for sure. I was actually, the funny thing is that I was just thinking as you were talking about that, what that made me think of was I was a part of that Hammer too at the back end before we moved. And I remember like we would still do partner like carry warm-ups and things like that. And I'm going through like the Cobra Kai series right now. And it's funny because Cobra Kai, like the new one in the episodes, they have all this like updated equipment and like it's like super new, the facility and everything, but they show flashbacks to like how they used to do it. And I was thinking like, are we the new like way of doing CrossFit as opposed to like the old way that was a little more gritty and a little more like some might call it fun, like doing burpees over your partner. Like I never program those because I don't want to sweat on somebody and I don't want somebody to sweat on me. But then I feel like some of the older generation might be like, but it's fun, like that's a part of it, And so it made me just think of that. Like, what are things we did back then that I no longer am doing now that I could incorporate still, even though it's like, just a little bit more gritty or whatever. So interesting.
I remember when I started at Oceanside CrossFit, they would not let you use chalk or grips or anything that made it, more comfortable, because the argument was, if you're in the wild, a lion's not going to let you put grips on.
Yeah.
Something like that. So
sure.
They were very much like that.
You could use that logic to talk yourself into doing a lot of stupid things. So I feel like where we're at is better, but maybe every now and then it'd be fun to mix it up a little bit like that.
Yeah, we had these GHD logs, dude. Those things were brutal. So brutal. It was like, Adam, did you ever see those logs?
I remember probably having them in backgrounds of pictures.
Dude, it was like I would put my knee sleeves, I would slide them over the top portion of where you put your foot in, because the top of your foot, if you did a GHD sit up correctly, would just get torn up by the wood. It was like wood, and then your butt was on a piece of wood that was just a log.
Nice.
Yeah, those logs, dude.
Dude, they were so brutal. And when Eric finally took them out, I was like, oh, thank God, we're getting real, like, soft ones in here. I'm sure that was the day that Kira's and Tash, like, died inside when they were like, you guys aren't man enough to do anything.
You're not raw enough.
Exactly.
He's the Rocky version where he's out there in the snow and doing all that. And
punching, like, was it like cow carcasses or whatever?
Yeah. I feel like it was like, Kira's and Tash were like that, and then Joe and Eric came in and they made it like I'm doing Cobra Kai right now, but like John Kreese. And then I feel like we were like, what are we? We are, who buys them all the equipment? Silver in, anyways, Karate Kid 3. He buys them all the updated equipment. So that's everything I talk about right now is Karate Kid. So
Cobra Kai. Yes.
yeah, ignore me.
We need to do a definitive history of Hammer CrossFit because I feel like I'm missing some of the early parts. Because I was involved in the one, was it off Kelton, I think?
Yeah,
Before they painted it blue. I think it was the burgundy with, mountains
yeah.
on the side of the walls, and then they painted it blue, and then they moved to the one that was yellow. So I know one was like, and then they moved to the place where Barnyard is now, right? So it's like it's Hammer, and then old Hammer, and then old Hammer, and then from that point on, I don't know anything about it.
There was ice rink Hammer before that, or that was like Arrowhead CrossFit, right?
Yeah, that was Arrowhead CrossFit.
Yeah, that was like before it turned into Hammer.
That was what, Megan and Orzi.
Yeah,
and then I was at the next one.
I feel like Adam and I should probably. This is going to be a throwback in a sideways curveball, but I feel like we should do a podcast with Dustin Seguitan. I feel like he would know a lot about that.
Yes.
Okay, before we jump into the fun questions, Keith, tell us about what you did during COVID. So I assume you were still part of Hammer, but I'm curious how that whole thing went for you.
Yeah, that's actually when I got my L1. We still just went to the Hammer CrossFit that was eventually yellow when Eric and Joe still owned it. And we would just go outside. We did a lot of workouts outside, yes. And then when James bought it, I'm getting that all confused. So we did a lot of that, like in the back, like in the parking lot. And then that's when it's now called Sports and Fitness Exchange, but it was like when it first started, like they were very, like, I went in there and just like before, right when I knew people were gonna start buying stuff. I went and just bought a whole bunch of stuff, threw it in the garage because I had no idea what was going to happen. So we got a little garage gym setup going, and then we would go to like either sometimes people would come to my house or I would go to somebody else's house a little bit. We did a lot of workouts like in the garage. Sandra and Sherry, her sister. For those of you who don't know, Sandra and Sherry are twins. Good luck figuring them out. And so like it was just people would go back and forth and. So I did either garage or Hammer, and then that's when Sandra like convinced me that she's like, just get your L1 because they had the online version because of COVID, and they felt that I should do that because I've been doing it for so long and I've been making all the mistakes, and I had so many good coaches like Logan and Stacy and Eric and everybody else like always tell me all the things I was doing wrong, and I remembered all those things. So now I'm like, I had all these good coaches that were telling me what I was doing wrong, and now I can kind of like relate. And so that's when, during COVID, that's what I did. And then I got my L1. So again too, because Sandra and Sherry were in the garage a lot, and they wanted to. I felt like, hey, why don't I help them out and make sure I know what I'm doing, and I don't tell them something wrong and screw something up. So that was COVID for us.
Yeah. We did something similar. We did. Everybody got a couple pieces of equipment, and then we all went to each other's houses and stuff. So it was like, you're not going to keep us from working out, like that would be the worst thing, is just to sit in your home and do nothing. So it was funny how a few of us had our different like groups. Yeah. And I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it, but there's a thing that we did at our so-called CrossFit gym when it was shut down, called Fight Club, and we didn't talk about it, and we definitely didn't see each other there ever. Like we didn't cross paths or anything, but we definitely went in and utilized some of the metal that was in there and rubber that was in there. Like there was materials in a building that sometimes we used and sometimes we used it together.
You were just making sure that it was still there.
Exactly. Like I just wanted to make sure nobody came in and broke in and stole everything. So
I moved it around so it didn't collect dust, so you wouldn't have to clean it so much.
Exactly.
Pick it up and then put it down, and then pick it up.
Yeah.
And put it down.
Ooh. Zoe's gonna be stoked.
Some squishmallows.
We got some.
Zoe has been on the side,
Zoe.
just been handing me Squishmallows that I have to just.
My
Zoe-
daughter's asleep.
Lighting
You
up the
can't
chat here. She's asking why I'm sniffing the mic because it smells
What?
so good.
Yeah, delicious.
It's delicious.
Oh yeah, we have
Man.
those upstairs too. That's awesome.
So
Love
good.
it. There you go,
We
Zoe.
have all the Squishmallows. Yeah. Sick.
All right. So let's see. One more comment from Zoe. Uh-oh. Dad, Logan knows our plan to rob the gym.
Well, good thing I don't keep these there. So yeah.
All right. So I've heard that Logan's got a really good set of questions here, perhaps the best that we've had. So
Uh-oh.
we say we jump right in.
Let's jump in. Alea told me yesterday, I'm gonna hop in the shower. Is that okay? And I was like, I don't think that's a good idea. So
Maybe step.
little
Slippery.
little dad
Safety
joke.
first.
Yeah, those dad jokes are a slippery slope. You can put this on Keith. You don't need to put it on me. This is Keith's time to shine right here.
I need to eat real quick. Keep going.
Oh, okay. I haven't.
Right.
I've literally taken I got home at 8 from the gym, and I literally stuffed my face with deli slices for 5 minutes before we came on. All right. You ready, Keith?
No, well, let's do it.
All right. What is the worst color?
The worst color? I don't know. Like the puke kind of color, like the pukey
So
kind of
brown?
color. Yeah, like a pukey brown.
Pukey brown. All right. I didn't know there was an actual name for it, but
Yeah, it's in there. Check the Corolla box. There's a crayon that says pukey brown.
I'm pretty sure that's a what are they? Birdie's Bots and Beans flavor of puke or
I don't
whatever.
know.
Keith, can you give us the hex code for that color?
Yeah.
Sure.
You need to figure that's your homework this week, just to figure out what the hex color is.
Oh.
Another one?
Okay. We're
Oh,
good. We're good. We're good. Thank you, Zoe.
Already.
I love you. There we go.
Yes. Here, with my Harry Potter stuff in the back, I'll just set this guy up here somewhere, and hopefully he'll stay. He's not going to stay. All right. All right. What's your favorite kitchen appliance?
That's a good one.
My favorite kitchen appliance. I'm not an appliance guy. What is my? Oh, it's got to be either the air fryer or the little mini oven, because you can throw stuff in there and it's good, so you don't have to put it in the oven. You can.
Oh, you use an Easy Bake?
Yes, I do use my Easy Bake. I do have an Easy Bake, and Zoe lets me use it.
Okay. I like that you threw in that Zoe lets you use it. It's not yours.
It's hers because I have to ask. Yeah.
Very kind of Zoe.
Yeah.
All right. If you were an item on the Chipotle menu, what would you be and why?
Oh, geez, Logan, are you kidding me right now?
No, I'm not. There's not many things on the menu. Wow.
Oh.
This is great.
My wife. Chipotle menu. I don't know. I love their steak, but I don't know why I would be the steak. I don't know, man.
If you like it, you could be the steak. I love their steak. People like it.
Their steak because I find it delicious, and Chipotle is good.
What would you be, Adam?
Probably the sour cream. Or no, the guac. I'd be the guac.
Yeah.
The guac's extra.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say I'd be the guac because I cost more. I probably wouldn't be the guac. I'd probably be the lime chips because I love their chips. Chips are so good.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, and they come in a bag, so sizzling hot. Wow.
Is that right? That must be directed towards Logan. Just kidding.
Yes.
Steak. Yeah, the vegan. Which school subject is the most nerdy?
Math.
Yeah.
And I love math. I'm a huge nerd. Math was my favorite.
Yeah, you went to aeronautical school. I'm loving these. I love that you can see I love that you can see who put these, because you couldn't see that with our last podcast.
Yeah, this is the benefit of using YouTube instead of Facebook.
This
And
is great.
we're not live on Instagram because I messed that up, but we'll get it next time.
That's all right.
Bruh.
All right. Yeah, here we go. In your opinion, what is the worst smell?
What is the worst smell? What is the worst smell? Well, I mean, there's dookies and certain things like that, but one of the worst smells when you're flying in an airplane, and you're in this confined area and you're flying with somebody else that has like this like fish or like tuna kind of concoction that they're trying to eat, and they open it up in the cockpit and this tiny little it is just like just come on, like really, like
that always, like, honestly, being a pilot, you probably see this a lot, but that always astounds me when people get in a small confined area and they open like a what's the sandwich that has like a mayo? It's like a tuna salad or chicken salad sandwich.
Yeah.
And they bought it in the area where you can bring it on the plane. I'm always astounded by that. Like, are you the only person on this airplane? Like, that's wild to me.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
People like that have like the Tupperware things, and then there's just something, the concoction they brought, and you're sitting there, and all of a sudden they just go, boom, and it's just like, oh. But
yeah,
that like when I think of like bad smells, like that's what instantly comes to my brain is like all the time someone next to me has opened something that like and it's just stuck there now, like permeating.
Yeah, macaroni salad or something. There was one time, Kira doesn't even know we do these podcasts, but there was one time where literally we were about to drive to California from here. So we get on the freeway. We weren't even to the Glendale like sports complex yet. And I start smelling something and I'm like, the heck is that smell? And Kira's like, oh
no.
I just sprayed essential oils. And I was just like, how crazy are you to just spray that in a closed car with a couple other people and a 5-hour drive? Like, yeah, it was wild to me.
All right, Keith, as a pilot, I have some questions for you.
Go for it.
By the way, I figured out Instagram, so we're live on Instagram now.
Nice.
With no one watching. Anyway, okay. I used to do photography for the CrossFit Games with guys that were pilots for JetBlue, and Scott was one of the guys. Scott Wallace. He would tell me that the front toilets were like connected somehow through the ventilation system, so that the ventilation basically pumped air from that bathroom into the cockpit. Has that been your experience?
Some airplanes are like that. Luckily, ours is not that bad. It's just that we have avionics in the front that need to be cooled, and so we have different parts of the airplane where what do we call it? Like the ventilation goes, and like most of it goes out the back in out little ports that we have, but there's some that goes in the front, and so then we have different air conditioning systems, and one of them is like the front and middle and back, and so the front is a part of the cockpit and like the front little galley area. So anything that happens in that galley where there's the lab or like they're making coffee and things like that, it kind of permeates, and then it comes through the cockpit, and then it tries to go through. So that way there's a little exit like down by our feet to go down to the avionics, and so sometimes it can suck in those smells.
Sounds awesome.
I was thinking about that today when I was driving Deo. I was like, I had the AC on in Alea's car, and I had it over to like cycling through the car, and I was like, I know where it blows out of, but where does it suck in under the dashboard, like under my feet? Because I was trying to get the quickest way to get it cycling cold air or whatever. But I never really thought about that on an airplane. And side note, if nobody knows this is something I never knew. I was this many years old until I asked Keith this. I never knew that the pilots don't have parachutes. Dude, that blew my mind. I always thought on airplanes, pilots had parachutes, and Keith's like, why would we have parachutes? We would just be sending people down to their doom, and we would be like floating off to safety. And I always just thought, like, we all have life rafts in case we crash in the water, and pilots will be safe because pilots are we can't expend pilots. So anyway.
As we're parachuting down, we'll look down at you and your rafts and be like, "Oh, good, they got in the raft." Like,
yeah, you guys are like floating through the air off to safety. Like, we'll wave at you guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good luck.
man.
Fend for yourselves.
Crazy. All right. Okay, we got a lot to get through. Do you have a funny Wi-Fi router name, or what's the best Wi-Fi router name you've seen?
Ours is currently Nacho Wi-Fi, like nacho chips, but Nacho
Nice.
Wi-Fi.
Love it.
I don't know what I've seen so many, and I've tried to like copy them, but I don't know.
Yeah. Ours is Let's Get Rowdy. All right. Oh, well. Oh, okay. I didn't realize I put this one, but we're going to read them. Do you have any nicknames for Sandra, and keep it age appropriate?
No, just Babe, the usual, like our thing.
Usual Babe.
Just Babe. Now because I'm ballsy, now everyone calls her Sandy or Sandy Balls now. Actually, like I don't know why I'm sharing this, but I'm going to. Her friends at work now call her Sandy Balls.
That's great.
But
that's awesome.
We don't have
Okay.
any.
All right.
Yeah.
Next question. Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Do you have any secret talents?
No.
Parachuting.
I can juggle. I can juggle a little bit.
How many?
3, and depending on the item, I can do 4. That's about my limit. I can't get to 5 yet.
Okay.
I don't know. I can like wiggle my ears a little bit.
That's pretty cool.
And my nose, but no.
I like
no
that.
real hidden talent. I can't do the tongue thing. Like I can turn it over, but I can't do the other tongue thing.
The flower or whatever it is?
Yeah, I can't do that.
I can't do that either. I was just trying right now while you're talking about it. What's the worst sandwich ingredient in your opinion?
Worst sandwich ingredient. That like you can get like on a normal menu, or something that like taco tongue.
Yeah, that's what it's called, taco tongue.
The worst like that, like if I were to go to Subway and it would be there, or just like some random thing that like in a sandwich.
You could do Subway with their ingredients.
I'm not an olive guy. I don't like olives.
Me neither. I'm right there with
olives.
you. I could do it. I would like, I'd be okay with it, but I'm not like, I wouldn't get it on a sandwich.
No, I'm like a bite it and it's like, whoa, and I'm like, I get it out.
Yeah.
No.
Have you guys tried Good Sense sandwich place right by the gym?
Yeah, a couple times. Pretty good.
So this question reminded me of an experience we had last time we were there, which was a long time ago, maybe about a year ago. And the guy that was working there making the sandwich was cutting the meat, and he sliced his finger really, really bad. So I was thinking blood is a really bad ingredient for the sandwich.
Yeah, not so good.
Fingers, human.
Yeah. You gotta tell me that story, like how like they had to just shut the place down.
Yeah, it was kind of awkward actually. They tried to just keep going and act like nothing happened, and the guy's sitting there like literally bleeding profusely into the sink and kind of struggling, and we just felt bad. And then we're like, we're not gonna eat here. We just left. I'm seeing comments on Instagram from looks like Anthony, but I don't see them showing up on the feed here. So
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a handful of people watching now on Instagram. So
no good can come from that.
That reminds me, there was one time at Hammer, at the old Hammer, that Alea and I had gotten there on I think it was like a Saturday night, and nobody was supposed to be at the gym. The gym wasn't open, and we start warming up for this like partner workout we're gonna do. And when we were driving there, we saw this guy Alex, and he's riding his bike like in the direction we're going. And I was like, "Hey, that's Alex. That's the new guy. He's been doing CrossFit for like I don't know 3-4 months or whatever." And she's like, "Oh yeah." And he's riding like this. I don't know what kind of bike it was, and we pull in, we start warming up, and then he comes walking in the gym, and he's like holding up his hand, and he's like, can one of you take me to the hospital?" And his pinky is like sideways on his finger, and I'm like, what happened? And he's like, I was trying to get up a driveway, and my like one speed or whatever like hit the curb, and I fell, and I think I broke my finger. And I was like, oh geez. I was like, yeah, sure. So I ended up taking him to the hospital, and we went to urgent care. I was there with him for like 4 hours. They had to put like actual, like metal things in his finger, and then put a full like stint on it. They stitched it up, and then he was like kind of high on drugs. And I was like, how you feeling, man? And he's like, oh, dude, I'm feeling good. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. And then in order to get his prescription, we're like at 10 at night, 11 at night. We had to go to a CVS across the way, and that CVS was 24 hours, and they're like, it's going to be an hour until we get his prescription ready. And he was like, well, let's go down the street to that 24-hour Subway, and I'll pay for your meal. And I was like, okay. So then we were sitting there eating Subway, and this kid in front of me is like high on medication, and finger all like taped up and everything, and we just sat there like in silence eating sandwiches. And then I drove him back to the CVS. We got his medication, and then his pain medication, and I drove him home. And then after that, he never came back to CrossFit. So, yeah, it was great. And we're still friends on Facebook. Pretty wild. So anyway, that was a long story. All right, let's go to the next question. Do you believe in aliens?
I sure hope there's something out there. I don't know if I believe in little green men, but the universe is so big and vast that I really hope there's something or someone out there, because if not, it's a big waste of space.
That's a lot of wasted space.
I was hoping for the Ted Lasso response. I think aliens should believe in themselves.
Let's see. Would you rather?
I think they're listening, so I'm not really supposed to talk about it.
I'm not. Another time.
Don't get me in trouble.
All right. 500 sit-ups or 50 man makers per time?
50 man makers. The
Why?
sit-ups, because I am awful at sit-ups, and after I hit like the 60 or 70 range, I really get like my muscles start cramping because I have no abs and my stomach is awful. And so I would much rather just do those man makers, man. I could just slowly go through those, but
yeah.
After a while you do the sit-ups and they're just gone, and it just hurts.
Yeah.
That's a lot of sit-ups, man.
It's a lot of sit-ups. It's a ton.
Isn't there a Dio CrossFit? Isn't there a workout that has a 50 man makers in it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe there was. Yeah. Maybe there wasn't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can't confirm or deny. Let's see. What was one of your favorite TV shows growing up?
Oh man. Dukes of Hazzard was one of those good ones, since my car. What was growing up?
Keith has a bright orange Charger, by the way. If you don't know that,
that's the bright orange obnoxious car in the parking lot is mine.
Yeah.
Dukes of Hazzard was good. What else was
Certainly
good?
don't key that car if you see it. Don't key it at all,
Yeah.
or toilet paper it, or anything like that.
Yeah. Or make smudges in it.
There's one that belongs to someone that lives near me, and I always confuse it with Keith.
Yeah. Anytime I see one of those, I look inside.
I can't remember any. I'm awful at remembering things, but that's the first one that comes to mind. There's a whole bunch, but
Dukes. All right.
oh no. Like when I was younger, like DuckTales and like those were awesome. I remember those. Those are my favorites. Like those cartoons. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. That was awesome. Tailspin.
Yeah, dude. Dude, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers was a good one. Man, they need to bring those shows back. Just good, wholesome shows for kids.
They redid DuckTales, and it's actually pretty good. Like
Oh, really?
ones, yeah, with some like really funny comedians in them, and it's pretty good.
Huh? Uncle Scrooge. That's great. Was that Uncle Scrooge where he was diving into the money? Yeah.
He's swimming around. Yeah.
Oh, you found out how to get Anthony on here.
Oh, he's on YouTube now, apparently. So.
Hi, Anthony.
Oh, welcome to the YouTube channel, Anthony. You're still not in our Facebook group, so he rage quit our Facebook group, and I invited him back, and he still hasn't come in. So I'm waiting for him. We're waiting whenever you're here. And Anthony might have something to say about this, but which Disney princess is the most annoying?
Most annoying?
Yeah. Which one? Like is just terrible?
Which one is terrible? I don't know, but this answer the first one that comes to mind is not going to probably go over well. But technically, she's a Disney princess. That the one from Wreck-It Ralph, where she was princess. She was in Princess in that video game. So she technically was a Disney princess.
What's her name?
Penelope.
Anthony, what's her name? Yeah, Penelope. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Like, and then like I'm not a big fan like Sarah Silverman, like her voice, and so like she was a little annoying in that.
Pretty raspy.
I'll say that's a Disney princess.
Yeah.
And Princess Leia, because Disney owns Star Wars, Princess Leia is a Disney princess.
Gotcha. I think I would go with Sleeping Beauty because I feel like that's so extra just to lay there until somebody kisses you, but whatever. Snow White, Penelope, Von Street. Yeah. All right. What's one thing you'll never do again, or do you have any injuries you've obtained in a really stupid way?
Oh yeah, one of my worst injuries, because I'm 46 years old now and I'm old, man. The worst one was it put me out for almost 6 weeks. Like I remember I went to Dr. Dan and had to do a lot of PT. Was while flying, because you're in this confined space. I was eating lunch and I had a potato chip and I dropped it, and so then I like leaned down and like twisted to try to like in this like and like the cockpit's right here, the yoke is right here, so like I can't touch the yoke, and so I'm like trying to like contort myself. And it just blew something in my back and went boom, like trying to grab the stupid potato chip off the floor by my feet because I couldn't like contort around the yoke to get it. Oh man, I was at 6 weeks. It was rough. Like that was one of my worst injuries I've ever had. Was that one?
One of the questions that I looked up that was in my rotation, but I deleted it, was have you ever eaten anything off the floor?
Oh yeah, who hasn't?
Yeah.
Shouldn't be eating chips anyway, bro.
That's true.
Protein chips. Question. You know what? When I was in junior high, we were getting ready to go out dirt biking one weekend, and we were in the garage and we were waiting for my mom to come out of the house. And I was in the garage and I had my full dirt bike gear on and everything. And at the top of the garage, I saw something hanging. I was like, what is that? And it was like it looked like one of those like floaty, like white, like fuzzy things that floats. And I was like, what is that? And I jumped to get it. It was a fish hook hanging from the ceiling that was there from a previous owner. And the fish hook caught my middle finger and sliced it all the way up. And so I still have I have a line in the middle of my fingerprint now from that. But they didn't do stitches or anything. But I remember being like, anytime you see something in this sky that's hanging there and shiny. Don't jump for it. That's not great.
Words to live
all
by.
right. Yeah, exactly. Being a pilot, I feel like this is a good one. What's the longest you've slept in one session?
Longest I've slept?
Do you have like a?
I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, probably like there was. Oh, yeah. There was one time when I may or may not have gone to Mardi Gras, and I completely lost all sense of time. And I don't know, like I probably like just slept probably for like after that for probably like at least 14, 16 hours, like just out. Like that was bad. I remember that. Yeah, like we woke up and we're like in like the middle. It was almost like nighttime. We're like, oh, what's going on? Like
Keith's got
bad.
stories, man.
A couple.
This is I'm learning a whole new side of you right now. All right, what's your favorite cereal?
It goes, man. It changes, but probably Captain Crunch, peanut butter.
Oh, solid. Yeah, peanut butter for sure.
Yeah.
Solid. Love that. All right. I'm gonna do this one, and then we have our rapid fire ones. What's the time when you were trying to be sneaky and you got caught?
The reason why my parents got an alarm for their house when I was younger.
Here we go.
Yeah, I snuck out. I would sneak out all the time. We had a basement and we would sneak out all the time. And yeah, and it was sneakier after that, but I had a little bit of weights and I had stuff by the window and I didn't realize it. So coming back at like middle of the night, I can't remember what time it was. My parents were like somewhere like watching a movie or something. And I come in and I had, I didn't realize that my weights were there. And so I like stepped down from the window and it goes goosh, like really loud. And they're like, you okay? You okay? I'm like, oh shoot. And so they like come into my room to see what's going on. And I'm like, and I'm, literally like something out of a TV show. Like I'm coming in through the window, window's open. I'm like, hi. And they're like, what are you doing? And they were so mad. So yeah, my parents after that, they're like, let's invest in an alarm to keep the kids from sneaking out.
That's
and
amazing.
So my sister was so mad because she snuck out all the time, never got caught. And so she's like, it was your fault. But back then it was like the old ones. And so we figured out that like you could just take like the silver wrapping from even like the gum wrappers. Like you could wrap it around the little sensor and still move the window and it wouldn't turn the alarm on.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I never snuck out after that, but you could do that and it would set the alarm on.
One could do that. Yeah. Mine wasn't sneaking out, which apparently I found out pretty recently. I did go out one time and I took my mom's car out when I didn't have my license, and I drove up to meet some friends, and my parents were gone for the weekend up at Lake Havasu. My mom informed me that she would take all of the alcohol out of the house and put it in a trash bag and put it in the trunk of her car. So apparently I was driving around with like open bottles of alcohol in the trunk and I never knew it. So she informed me of that recently, but there was one time we used to mess with the mailman a lot, which now looking back, I'm like, what an idiot. Like I feel like that's like a federal offense or something, messing with a government worker. But our mailbox like slid into our garage. It was in the side of our house. We didn't actually have a mailbox. It was just like a mail chute. And we used to mess with our mailbox guy or our mailman a lot. We would do stuff like, I don't know, we would just mess with him. And there was one time where he opened the thing, and right before he opened it, it was right around 4th of July. And my brother was like, hey, do you have any smoke balls left? And I was like, yeah, I got some. And he's like, hey, light a smoke ball right when the mailman comes up to open the thing. And I was like, all right. So the mailman opens up the chute, and I had already previously lit a smoke ball, and I was holding it, and all this blue smoke starts coming out in his face. And it was amazing to us. My brother and I were cracking up, and he took the mail and just threw it on the floor and walked away. And our house is all smoky, so my brother's like, hey, we need to get all the smoke out of the house before mom gets home. So we're opening all the windows and we're fanning off everything. And then my mom, like, we think we got it all, and we close the windows and we're like, we're good. My mom walks in the house and is like, what the heck are you guys, other words, doing with blue smoke balls and everything? And we're like, how did she find out? She's like, you better get out there and clean up the side of the house before your stepdad gets home. And we open the front door, and where the mail chute is, the whole wall is blue from me holding the smoke ball on the outside. We didn't bother to check at all, but I remember it just being like, wow, we thought we had that one in the bag. But anyways. All right. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 rapid fires. You can't think about it. You just have to answer. All right?
No.
Yes. Here we go. Do ghosts watch us use the potty?
Yes.
All right. Do you believe in rainbows?
Yes.
Okay. Watermelon is the best fruit?
No.
What is the best fruit?
Oranges.
Okay. Which one makes you more shook? Why is 11 not pronounced as 1T1? Or why is
1
why is it called a first birthday when it's really the second?
The first birthday when it's the second.
Yeah.
That
Because when
one's
you're
more
born,
shook. Yeah.
when you're born, that should be your birthday.
That's your birthday. You only
And
get
then-
one birthday, and the rest are anniversaries.
Yes, exactly. Okay. What animal do you think is the biggest party one?
Biggest party animal?
Biggest party one, yeah.
What's the biggest party
This guy.
animal?
Who has 2 thumbs?
This guy. I think giraffes are like secret party animals. I think they really.
Okay. Okay. Trader Joe's, Sprouts, or Whole Foods?
Sprouts.
All right. Last one. Do you think you could take Dave Castro in a fist fight?
No, he's an ex-Navy SEAL. He knows what he's doing.
But he's out of shape, bro.
Yeah.
He made
knows.
He made quarterfinals.
I mean,
he knows the workouts, but
yeah, I think you could take him.
I mean, I don't want to. I mean, this is on YouTube, so I don't want to say that I could. But I could.
I'd have your back, bro. I'd have your back. I'd at least be rubbing your back.
Yeah, there you go. As I walk in there to the ring, and
is that
I appreciate that
marketing strategy? We're just gonna pick fights with people and
100%. Let's hashtag Dave Castro every way we can on this,
and just everyone threaten to fight him and be like, "We'll win. Come on, Dave."
I mean, he was the reason why I did the marathon row. He did it in like, I think he said it was like 3 hours and 14 or 15 minutes, and I was like, if he can do that, I could do it faster. Which I did, by the way. But he was the whole reason why I did that. So, and I'm not going to say thanks because it was a dumb decision, and I wish I never did that, and we'll never do it again. So.
Let's do it next week.
No, never.
Dave has a Deo Valente CrossFit shirt. So hope
gave him one.
I did. I gave him a Stronger Things shirt. So
nice.
Hopefully we catch him wearing it at some point.
We need it. We need to send Hiller some stuff. That's what we need to do. So, well, he's shirtless in all of his videos. So
I don't know if I want to be on their radar.
Where is he at? I'll next time I go to his city, I'll drive over and knock on his door.
Yeah.
Throw him a shirt.
Yeah.
Just drop the window.
Be like, Dan Bailey gives you a shirt, bro. Here you go. Well, that's all I got.
Awesome. Well, I guess that brings us to the end. It's about my bedtime anyway, since I got to get up at 4:15. But we'll go with final comments. Keith, what you got for us?
Stick with it. Stick with the methodology. It's all about consistency over time. Consistency is key. That's why I like CrossFit. I believe in it. I believe in the methodology, the movement for life, movement is medicine. Yeah, just keep showing up, do what you can. Love the community here. That's why I'm here. That's why I've been 14 years now with a similar community, but
Yeah, bro.
and lots of burpees, Anthony. No, yeah, just this community is great. I love this community. That's why I'm here. That's why I keep sticking it out. That's why I believe in it, and that's why show up every day. It's mainly it's it's a community, and then the methodology of just staying healthy and trying to live a long life and keep up with my kids.
Yeah, bro.
Nice. Logan, what you got?
I'm just here for the plushies. I'm here for the Harry Potter right there. Yeah. I'm here for the Harry Potter plushies. And
we got to learn how to do those heart things. I don't know if
ours doesn't do it, dude.
Is it an iPhone thing or
what are you on?
I'm on an iPad.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Well,
doesn't
I'll add, Keith, I agree. I love the community that we've got. We've had a strong start because there was already a strong community coming from Hammer and the many years, almost a decade of, community being built there. And I'm thankful that we were able to take part of that and kind of move it forward with, with what we're doing at Deo Volente. Really enjoyed having you with our gym since the beginning, you and your family, and really appreciate the contributions you guys are making to not only the community, but also helping us with, coaching and things like that. So love what we've got going here and happy that we could highlight you today with this podcast, and look forward to more fun times with our community in the gym going forward. So I think with that, we'll go ahead and close it out. Thank you everyone for watching. I am seeing in the comments some frustration with figuring out how and where to comment. So we're going to navigate that as we go forward with Instagram and with YouTube. But speaking of those, be sure to follow us on Instagram, follow our YouTube channel, or I guess the word is subscribe, and
like and subscribe, ring that bell.
Yeah.
Hit that button.
Smash something.
Smash that like button.
And
smash it.
Yes. All right. Thank you, everyone. We're going to close out.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you next time. See ya.
Bye.